Welcome to Aging Insights. I'm Grace Egan, Executive Director of the New Jersey Foundation for Aging. The Foundation's mission is to enable seniors to live with independence and dignity in their communities. Aging Insights is produced by the New Jersey Foundation for Aging to provide information and resources to boomers, seniors, and caregivers. Today, we thought we'd take a little journey, or really to talk about tips for those that are planning to travel or discuss resources for those who want to learn about faraway places. Our guests today include Kate Baker, Special Populations Librarian at the Piscataway Public Library, and Barry Versfeld, President of Travelong of Summit, New Jersey. Thank you for joining us today. You know, people always think that seniors have a lot of resources and a lot of time so that they can devote it to travel. So today I thought we'd discuss travel tips for seniors and their caregivers, and resources for those who maybe just don't want to leave their home but want to learn about lots of places and stay in the comfort of their homes. So I thought that today would be an interesting show. And Barry, I'll probably start with you. I just want people to understand not only some of the questions they should ask and be prepared, but also what they can expect from a travel agent when they're trying to set something up. So what's the first question or the concern that people really bring to you when they start to plan a trip?
Well, it's difficult to generalize. You've got to consider things like destination, weather, budget, security. So, for example, if somebody comes in to meet with us, and he or she is planning, normally it's a she, planning the honeymoon, then you'd have a different answer to the question. Generally, what we do is we spend time listening to our customers to find out what they are looking for, what their budget is, what their destinations are, and exactly what it is that they want to achieve. Do they want an adventure experience? And then what we do is we match up the destination with their requirements. So it's a question of finding out exactly what they want and then matching it up so that they have a fantastic experience, and that's what we give them.
And you mentioned honeymoon, so I'm presuming you deal with people of all ages and all economic levels when you talk about what their ability they can put towards their trip. You mentioned security, and so I think I want to translate that into safety.
Yes. You know, when situations arise, such as in certain countries you have issues and you have travel warnings. Also with the, I don't know if you recall the SARS about 10 years ago in the early 90s, and Ebola recently, people become very nervous about the fact that if they travel they may contract one of those diseases, and so it sort of instills a fear in them. The other parts of security is going to certain countries where the government has given, the state government has given them travel warnings, and there are, you know, websites to follow to find those.
So there are websites, travel advisory websites?
Yes, there are websites. For example, on the medical side, there's www.cdc.gov. That's for Americans. There's the travel.state.gov, and then if you go onto that website, it has current travel warnings. And if you go down, you look at your destination, it'll give you the warning that they're ascribing to that destination at that time. There's also an international website, who.int, which gives you medical situations in various countries. And then again, if you're going to a specific country, you can go onto their website to have a look and see what vaccinations, immunizations are required for those specific countries.
I think that the vaccination part and danger zones and other cautions are always very helpful to give people. And you mentioned the U.S. website, does that cover international sites as well?
Yes.
Travel warnings?
Travel.state.gov covers all countries.
All countries. Okay.
So it'll have a list of the countries where there are active warnings at this stage, and it's a U.S. website.
Yeah, I think that's very helpful. I think people want to be as prepared and know whether or not they want to get another set of shots or vaccinations. So I think that's very helpful. Do you have suggestions when you're advising a client? I mean, I think when we talked earlier, you said you sort of ask them not only their interests, but, you know, their mobility issues, their dietary. I mean, so what really do you cover?
Well, we cover all aspects of it. We need to know if they have any mobility issues. There are their destinations. Currently, the hotels, the cruise ships, and certain travel organizations have become most aware of people with restricted abilities. And so therefore they are catering to them to a much greater extent. And we know those destinations, we know those opportunities. And it's not only disabilities, it's also things such as people have problems with certain types of food. So if they have, let's say they have an allergy to specific seafood, then we note that on their chart that we send to them.
Yeah, and I know when we were originally talking, I was thinking if someone has congestive heart failure or a breathing issue, maybe you're not going to book them to Beijing. Right. Because I think there are several countries that have some air quality issues.
Certainly. Those are things that we find out in our discussions with our customer. We spend a lot of time with them. We learn, we listen, and then we match them up with the destination. That's how we operate.
Yeah, I think that's important. I mean, as a person who has traveled on an occasion, I know I tried to book a place in Italy and said, do you have an elevator? And they said, yes. I think I mentioned this, but it was after you accomplished 24 stairs. So it wasn't exactly as, shall I say, mobility friendly as I was looking for with some of the people we were traveling with. So it's good to have, I think, a heads up and somebody who's really looking out. So I think that's good. What about travel insurance? Is this something people should consider?
We recommend, we don't insist, but we recommend travel insurance for every traveler. There are different types of insurance. The one that's all-encompassing, it basically covers trip cancellation, trip interruption, covers a limited amount of baggage insurance. The two most important, I feel, are medical insurance. You generally, with our policy, you get $50,000 of medical insurance cover, and you get $500,000 of medical evacuation.
So that means if you're in a foreign country, that you get that medical assistance if you need it.
Right.
Okay.
Or you can get medically evacuated. For example, one of our agents had a customer who was down in Turks and Caicos, and he had appendicitis.
An island in the Caribbean, is that correct?
That's right, yeah, sorry. And he developed appendicitis. So they medevaced him to Florida, and he had the operation there. And what would have cost him $30,000 was covered with the insurance.
So it sounds like it's worthwhile. And I understand some of them, maybe this is correct or not, you can tell me, that even if for some reason you can't go, something came up, and you're canceling it as opposed to the agent, that it's covered as well. Is that right?
Yes, there are certain reasons. You have to have a look at the policy, obviously, but there are medical reasons for you and or your family, immediate family.
Oh, okay.
So if somebody in your family becomes ill and cannot make the trip, you can cancel the trip and receive a full refund.
Interesting. So I know years ago when people would travel, they would try to get their currency before they left. And things internationally have changed so much. I get the impression that people don't need to do that anymore. How do people handle currency?
There's a couple of ways. I mean, you can get currency. There are financial institutions that'll deliver or send you currency. We can arrange that for you. However, when I travel, for example, I take a debit card and I take a credit card, and I make sure that the debit card that I use doesn't have my full access to all my funds. It's just limited amount. But you can go to ATMs at banks. ATMs at banks, and you go
in a foreign country.
In a foreign country, you go to like we were in Spain. You go to Santander or one of the Deutsche Bank or one of the bigger banks, better known banks, and you use your debit card and you collect some currency, and then you don't take it all at once. So you just keep a limited amount, and you keep using it, especially Europe. That is very familiar.
Yes, I would say that's a good idea. I know sometimes there are ATMs in airports as well, And I think you brought up an interesting difference between a credit card and a debit card. And I think it's kind of important to realize that you can't use, well, usually you use your debit card in an ATM.
Right.
And you're absolutely right. I mean, you don't want to have all your dollars sitting in the debit
account.
card, because someone can access that, no?
Well, if they do access it, at least it's a limited amount. But if you're
Right.
going to a reputable bank, it's unlikely they're going to get a hold of it. The difference between the debit and credit card, and you should take credit cards, because you can charge most of your expenses on your credit card over there. And if something happens, if they do manage to steal the information from your credit card, you're covered by your credit card company. So you take a couple of credit cards, you take one with you, and then you leave one back in the safe or your locked baggage at your hotel where you're staying. And you just take the one credit card with you in case you leave it somewhere or you lose it.
Well, I know now we sort of are wandering into all of those safety issues.
Right.
So are there other safety tips? I mean, you know, some countries are known for having very adventurous pickpockets and different things like that.
Well, what we do when we're developing the destination for the customer, we'll certainly let them know if they're going to a specific city. We say, listen, you know, this city is known for pickpockets. Do not, if you don't have to take it, don't take it. In other words, you know, don't take your jewelry, don't take stuff that can possibly be flaunted in front of people and can be stolen. But always be alert, even if you're admiring a specific scenery, just know where you are and what can possibly happen. We know which areas are more liable for people to become mugged or have their pockets picked, etc. And so we advise our customers.
This is probably also true for traveling in the U.S., I would imagine.
Less so. I mean, there are areas where one would want to stay away, but you know, most of the information that you have for traveling in Europe applies as well to the U.S. You know, the disability thing, certainly the U.S. is, you know, far more attuned to people with disabilities. You know, you can find almost anywhere today in the U.S. where they've, you know, any new building definitely has it, and a lot of the old buildings are being, you know, reconfigured to handle people with disabilities.
But I imagine some of the older cities in Europe might not be as disability friendly, and the same thing might be true in parts of Asia. Is that right?
Well, we know pretty much where you can go to overcome these obstacles, and so we wouldn't suggest a destination for somebody who did have that issue.
Yeah, I think you know, it's. I think it's really important for people to, as you said, know what they want to do, and for you to be able to offer them a plan that enables them to do all those things in an itinerary. Do you give people a lot of, well, an itinerary, for example?
Oh, we certainly do. We certainly give them itineraries. And it's comprehensive. It tells them right from day one when they have to board the aircraft departing from their home city, all the way through where they're getting met at certain airports, people holding up signs, what's going to happen with their bags, who's going to take them here, their tour guide, what time the tour guide is going to meet them, where he's going to take them, what they're going to experience, where they should go and eat. We give them a lot of travel tips in that respect. So when they get the itinerary, it's comprehensive.
Well, I think that is really very helpful in the comprehensiveness, as you said, and not everybody has the ability to travel. So I'm really happy that Kate is here to also talk about resources that might help someone plan a trip, but for those who might not be ready to either leave the comfort of their home or their local town or library. So Kate, how long have you been at the library?
I've been at Piscataway Public Library for 11 years now.
Well, you must have seen an awful lot of people come through in that time and ask you an awful lot of questions about travel. What kind of travel information does the library have?
Public libraries have the current issues of the popular travel guides like Fodor's and Frommer's. We also have current magazines like National Geographic Traveler. Some people prefer reading about other people's travels, and so we have some travel writing books, exactly.
Like this book, Better Than Fiction, that's what this one's called.
We have a lot of those, and people seem to really like those. And we also have DVDs for people who would like to watch something about the destination that they're interested in. A lot of libraries have large print books, but not every book is available in large print. And so some libraries will loan you, along with your book, a magnifier that you can take home with your book, just check it out with your library card, and it covers the full page of the book or the magazine, and it really helps with the smaller print.
It does wonderful on that cover. So you can take magazines out?
Yes, you can, and we also offer something called Zinio, which is a full text and full graphics way of accessing your favorite magazines right through your library's website.
Oh, that sounds really interesting. I didn't know about that. So is this something that many libraries have, or is it special?
I believe many libraries do offer this.
And so it's zinnia, like the flower?
Zinio, like Z-I-N-I-O.
Oh, well, that sounds like it might be very helpful. Can you use that for other more professional magazines?
All kinds of magazines.
Oh, well, that sounds something new. I didn't know about that, so it sounds very interesting. And so the DVDs you can take out?
Yes.
And the magazines. What about virtual tours? I've seen some of them online.
Right. If you want to check out a place before you go there, or if you are interested in a place and are not even planning to go there, you can go there virtually, which is sort of a simulated experience of the trip. For example, if you want to go to the Grand Canyon online, you go to the Grand Canyon's website, click on Virtual Tour, and you really feel like you're there because you see panoramic views, and the graphics are incredible. And all of the national parks have this virtual tours.
Well, I think that sounds like a really nice experience, especially if you're not really ready to go to the Grand Canyon, or you feel like it's something that you've missed, or you went and it was a long time ago. Things have changed. I know years ago I was at Yellowstone and Yosemite, and all of those things were lovely, but at the same time, I probably didn't see it all.
Right.
So, that's kind of a nice opportunity. So a virtual tour for those that might be a little more computer shy, shall I say. I know I went on the website for the Louvre, and they have a virtual tour. They have like many collections, so I could see, say, the Egyptian collection, or some of the painting collections and different things like that. So you're right. I think if you can do it in the comfort of your own home, but you're saying they can also come into the library for help?
Sure, we could help you either from your home. If you're struggling with a certain website, you're at home on your computer, and you're not sure what to do, you can always call your local library, and a librarian can walk you through it, because we can simultaneously go to that website and tell you over the phone what to click on, what to type, to help you get started with the navigation. But also, if you come into the library, we have a lot of public internet computers that you're free to use, and we can help you get started on those also.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of assistance available, which I think is wonderful. And for somebody that's perhaps not comfortable enough or doesn't have the mobility, you did mention calling you. So when someone calls the library and they want assistance with this computer question, are they calling reference? Or
Yes.
do they call? They call reference. And the same thing if they want something that they haven't been able to access, they would again call reference?
Yes.
Okay.
And if they want to come to the library and learn about computers in order to, plan a trip or something, we have free computer classes for all ages of adults and all skill levels, everything from how to use a mouse up to advanced Microsoft Excel.
Well, it sounds very interesting. Now, you think this is true at most of the libraries across New Jersey?
I do believe so, yes.
Yeah, I think that's very nice. And what about the person that really can't get to you but wants to access these books and feel them in their hands?
Right. If you can't come to the library, in many cases the library can come to you. Some towns have bookmobiles where they actually put the books on the bookmobile and take them out to the community, making scheduled stops throughout the town. My town does not have that, but we have a homebound delivery service where we use the library's van to actually go to people's homes and deliver books right to their door.
So the presumption is either they've called the reference librarian or the information desk, or they've gone online to say this is the book they want, but they can't get to the library?
Right, and we set it up for them so that every month they can have books that they want delivered to them, and then the next month we go back to their home and pick them up and return them to the library and bring new books. And this is true not only for individual residences, but also for a nursing home and an assisted living center in Piscataway. We have several people, residents of these facilities, who have library cards, and so we bring books to them every month. In fact, one resident of the assisted living center recently asked me for Travelong information and information about Scandinavia. So I brought her some books about Scandinavia, and then I printed some information from somebody's blog who had been to Norway and Sweden, and they had kept a blog, including some really great photos. So I just printed out some of that and brought it to her, and that really it made her very happy.
I'm sure it really gave her some insight, and I guess that takes me to the question about how you can help seniors kind of experience an exotic place, but not necessarily really go very far.
Right. They just have to go to their local public library, because not only do we have these great books and DVDs and magazines, but all throughout the year we have programs that celebrate various cultures. For example, we've had a Spanish dancing performance. Very soon we're going to have a Filipino musical group come, and we've had Chinese chorus groups come. And because New Jersey is so diverse, we recognize that and we try to celebrate many different world cultures. One other thing that we do every year is we have something called Show Us Your Ethnic Heritage. And this is where we invite the public to bring something from their native land. And we keep things like jewelry from Pakistan, clothing from India. We keep them displayed in a glass case, and the public is welcome to come and get a glimpse of another culture.
Yeah, you did give me the sense when we were talking about this that sometimes you even have cultural events that include food.
Yes. In October, we had a Korean group come to the library and teach the public about Korean culture. And part of their presentation was they allowed the public to actually try on the beautiful silk garments worn in the traditional Korean ceremonies, and then they gave a cooking class. So people learned about the ingredients and how to prepare Korean food, and then they got to eat the food.
Well, it sounds like they can experience an awful lot without getting that plane ticket, sorry, Barry, or getting those shots. And it sounds to me that somebody that has, shall I say, made a first stop at their library might even be a more informed consumer for you.
We love that.
So, I mean, it just sounds like there's so much here that we can build on in terms of what Barry's information is. And do you feel that after your first visit with a client that sometimes they rush out to get more information?
They generally do. They like to visit the websites. And in fact, when we give them the itineraries, we do give them websites to every part of the destination. We would give them a Louvre website, for example, if they didn't have it, and websites for the hotels and any of the specific areas that they were going to visit. So they have that in their itinerary.
And I imagine, too, Kate may not see the caregivers as much, but if somebody's traveling with a travel companion, you may actually deal with the senior client and their traveling companion who may have greater mobility or even more interest. So you really have to accommodate both of their needs.
Both of them. That's correct, yes. Yes, I mean, whenever you have, sometimes we have a family going, and the parents and children, so you have to accommodate both parties. You have to say, okay, the kids are going to want to do this, the parents are going to want to do this, so we have to send them to a destination where everybody's going to be happy. So, and that's the same with, having a caregiver and somebody else. To make them both happy, we'll take them to the place where the person with a disability is taken care of, and the caregiver can experience some things that he or she wants to do.
Yeah, not to get too specific, but I know some river cruises can accommodate somebody who wants to see all these things, but their caregiver could go for the biking expedition,
Exactly.
an hour or two away, or something like that.
Yes, exactly.
So, it really is very nice to be able to put the picture together for somebody who wants to have that adventure, whether it's in the U.S. or internationally, or, really just wants to get all of this wonderful information that Kate has brought. And this Midnight in Siberia?
Yes, that's a fairly new book, and again, it's travel writing about taking the train through Russia.
Really? In the winter?
I'm not sure. Maybe not in winter.
Maybe not in winter? Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe Siberia isn't as cold and snowy as they always picture, but I think it is. What do you think, Barry?
It's cold.
It's cold.
It's pretty cold, yes.
It's pretty cold. So anyway, so it's nice to be able to experience it, whether it's through someone else's writings or whether it's virtual tour it, or really being able to kind of have that moment where you're sitting down with the tickets and your itinerary and knowing all the things that you could do.
Right.
What is the last, I guess, tip or so that we would want to offer our future travelers?
Oh, go ahead.
Go to your library.
Go to your library?
Call us.
Call you?
Call us and we'll take care of you.
Well, I think that's great. I think it's nice for people to know what they can expect when they want to set something up. And so I think it's great.
Right.
Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
I really
Pleasure.
appreciate
Thank you.
sharing your time with us. Aging Insights is produced by the New Jersey Foundation for Aging and is made possible by donations to the foundation. To become a sponsor for Aging Insights, please go to our website at www.newjerseyfoundationforaging.org, or you can call our office at 609-421-0206. All of the previous shows may be viewed on our website as well. We want to remind you to find out about senior services in your area. Please contact your county office on aging. Their numbers are on our website, or you may call the state hotline number at 1-877-222-3737. Thank you for watching this episode of Aging Insights. And remember, aging is everyone's business.